Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started with the Seminole County Special Magistrate hearings for today. The way the process works is we will, the county will call a case, or I will call a case based on the process that we have kind of up here. There's really no rhyme or reason, so if you are following by an agenda and you don't get called, you will, I assure you. The county will present its case first. You will, at that time, if you would like to cross-examine or ask any questions, you can certainly do that. When the county has closed its case, it will then be your opportunity to present any witnesses or evidence that you have. I will make a decision here today as to whether there has been a violation, and you will be given time to correct. If you are here for the first time and you do not correct within the time period provided, you stand to have a penalty of up to $250 a day imposed. If you are here as a repeat violator, you stand to have a fine of up to $500 a day imposed. So we're going to go ahead and get started, but by way of housekeeping, the 2440 CESM Rebecca Wiggins case is going to be continued to August 8th. And the first case that we will hear is CESM 36, or 2436 CESM Jason Turner.
Got it, Jules?
Oh, to add to it.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. For the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building Division.
Let me go ahead and swear you in.
Thank you.
And Mr. Turner, if I can swear you in also. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is in regards to case number 2436 CESM Jason S. Turner at 7100 West State Road 46 in Sanford. The violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of the violation: interior demolition and removal of windows and exterior doors without the required permits. This is when the initial inspection that was done on 9/19 of 23, given respondent the notice of 9/20/23 and a compliance date of 10/4 of 23, another compliance date of 10/27/23, follow-up site visits that show the following: 9/20/23, 10/12/23, and 11/14/23. The follow-up via inspections that also shows the violation remains on the property. This is a picture of the property appraiser's website that shows that Jason Turner is the property owner on record. This is a notice of a posting of hearing that was posted on the property on 7/2 of 24. These are other pictures of the property and the demolition that was done on the house. And this was taken on 9/19 of 23. This is a stop work order that was placed on the property on 9/20/23. Again, pictures that were taken on 10/12 of 23. And again, there's copies of posted return, certified mail, and final letter that was taken on 11/14 of 23 that was posted on the property. This is a picture of the the permitting website that shows that electrical demo permit was applied for as of yesterday, and they had also a plumbing cap because the recommendation was to either apply for a demolition permit for the property or else it's going to go into abatement at that point in time. So he did come in yesterday and apply for the electrical portion of it. The plumbing was already done, and now at this point we need to go back to do the demolition permit. This is a copy of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, regarding the permitting process. This is a recommendation based on the testimony and the evidence presented in the case number 2436 CSM. It's determined that the respondent is the record owner of the property located at 7100 West State Road 46 in Sanford in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's website. is in possession and control of the property and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. It is further recommended that the special magistrate order the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 9th of 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector when the demolition is finalized. This concludes my presentation.
Okay, so real quick, let me ask. So we're looking for, he did apply for an electrical permit.
Correct. The plumbing and the electric has to be capped off before they'll issue a demolition permit.
Okay, so, and then they're requiring those permits before?
Yes,
So
they will not issue a demo until those have been inspected and they're finalized out.
Okay, so the electric and plumbing in addition to the interior demolition.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, sir, you look familiar.
Do? Oh,
You do.
where did we meet before?
I believe right here.
Oh, nice. So yeah, I should be in compliant if I walk through these doors, but yeah, the plumbing passed a couple months ago, the electrical passed today, and I've already processed all the paperwork yesterday prior to being here, and I'm gonna go pick up the devo permit as soon as I leave here. The
Okay.
plumbing passed this morning, or the electrical passed this morning.
Okay. Well, the county is asking that you receive your permits by October 9th, 2024. That seems reasonable under the testimony
Yeah.
that you've provided. So I'm going to go ahead and order you to bring the property into compliance by October 9th, 2024, or you will have a fine of $250 a day imposed. Okay, next case, I believe this one's yours as well, 2437 CESM.
Correct.
I'll remind you, you're both under oath.
Correct. Thank you. Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building. This is in regards to case number 2437 CESM, Jason Turner at 5725 North Road, Sanford in Seminole County, Florida. Violation charge of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of the violation, installation of an accessory structure without the required permits. The initial inspection was done on 1/17 of '24. Notice to the respondent went out on 1/25 of '24, given a compliance date of 2/8 of '24 and 3/4 of '24. There's been multiple site visits that's been done on the property itself. Also follow-up inspections via computer. At this point, the violation still remains on the property. This is a copy of the property appraiser's website that shows that Jason Turner is the property owner. These are copies of postings that we've done on the property that was done on 7/2 of '24. Here's a picture of the actual violation that is done 17/24 for the unpermitted structure that's out there. Also, again, photos that were taken on 2/15 of '24. This is a picture of the website showing no permit on site in the system to correct the violation at this point in time. This is a copy of the Seminole County Chapter 40 Appendix A regarding the permitting process. The recommendation based on the testimony and the evidence presented in the case number 2437 CESM is determined that the respondent is the record owner of the property located at 5725 North Road, Sanford, in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. It's further recommended that the special magistrate order the respondent to correct the violation on or before October 9th of 2024. In order to correct this violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to let her know when the permit has been issued. This concludes my presentation.
Yes, sir.
Application's in process. I hired an architect. Hopefully by the end of next week, I'll have the full application turned in. So, yeah.
Okay, so based on the testimony given, I am finding that the county's recommendation of October 9th, 2024, for you to achieve compliance is reasonable. And if you do not comply by October 9th, 2024, I will impose a fine of $250 a day. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case, 2438 CESM.
Where's Bob?
And it's, I'm sorry, Charlie Knoll.
Where's Bob?
Are you ready for
I'm
this?
ready, correct.
Okay. Sir, if you'll go ahead and raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Right there, tell him to grab him and set up an appointment.
Mr. Turner, if you would like to have a conversation, if you'll go ahead and go on out, we're trying to have some hearings.
For the record, I just want to say he just obtained his permits to put him in good standing with us.
So,
There will be probably, is there going to be a fine or anything that's coming with this, admin cost? Mill Shore Drive.
well, let me ask a few questions
Okay.
then. So, when were your violations, notices sent and information related to how quickly it took Mr. Knoll to come into compliance?
6/29 of '23.
Okay, so you've been working on this for over a year.
He has been, yes.
Okay, you want to,
Do you want to hear the case?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
Thank you. Okay. This is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building Division. This is in regards to 2438 CESM, Charlie E. Knoll, at 929 Mill Shore Drive, Chuliota, in Seminole County, Florida. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of the violation, removal of a second-story balcony without the required permits. This is a copy of, I'm sorry, this is the permitting, this is the inspection screens. It's showing that the violation went out on 6/29 of '23, given a notice to the respondent on 6/29/23, and several compliance dates that were given as the following, and follow-up site visits as well, and then follow-up computer visits. The violation still remained on the property. This is a picture of the website that shows that Charlie Knoll is in possession of the property and the property owner. This is a copy of the green card that he received, the certified mail that was sent to him. These are the violations that were charged. Originally, there was 3 violations that was on the actual code case itself. Violation remains at 7/8 of 2024. Remove the second-story balcony taken on 8/3 of '23. And again, another picture that was taken on 6/29 of '23. This is a picture of the permitting screen showing an approved status pending owner. So we were waiting for him to hit the button and accept because it was already paid for at this point as of yesterday. Next, please. This is a copy of the permit application dated 9/1 of '23 and the current workflow, where it's stopped in process. Next screen. This is a copy of the Seminole County Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1 regarding the permitting process. This is the recommendation based on the testimony and the evidence presented in the case number 2438 CESM. It is determined that the respondent is the record owner of the property located at 929 Millshore Drive, Chuliota, in Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property, and in violation of the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. It's further recommended that the order the respondent to correct the violation on or before October 9th of 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondent does not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance. This concludes my presentation.
Good afternoon, sir. So can you give me a little insight on why it took so long for you to comply with the notices you were receiving?
Initially, I had hired an engineer to do or architect to do some drawings going back to 2020. And I was doing a lot of renovations to the house. Siding and windows were among them, which I did hire a contractor to do those. That was all done. And there was the first violation was there was a porch that stuck out and it was in the way. And I was already in the process of having drawings drawn up to replace all of that. I really honestly didn't think nothing about it, just cutting it off so they could go ahead and install all of the siding undisturbed without having to work it out and demo it later. During that, COVID broke out. I couldn't afford to do the addition at that time. I went through several revisions, scaling back the project to what it is now, and here we are. So I went and I've been working with the county on getting some of these code violations caught up to date. Permits were issued and inspections were called for and they've been passed off. So right now I'm working with a couple different contractors to go ahead and finich this work up on the property.
Okay, so did there need to be a permit for the siding, and was that received? Vicki?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Did there need to be a permit for the siding that was done, and
Yes,
that was
ma'am.
received?
Yes, ma'am. Seminole County requires a permit for anything that's on a structure.
Okay, so he pulled a permit for the siding, and he had removed the balcony and sided over it, and I'm assuming he got the certificate of occupancy for that, or the final on that permit?
I'm not sure if the final had been done yet at this point in time. Getting the permits issued were the big deal at this point
Okay.
because it had gone on for so long.
Okay. So do you have costs that you can give testimony on?
We don't today because he just got his final permit issued.
Okay.
I want to look at his screen real quick. There's one permit that's done in there. Jason, can you pull it up for me, please? It's going to be 24/9/13. We've got one in there that is completed.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and order that now that you have gone through the process and you've completed what you need to do and you understand that there are permits that are required for any kind of work that you're going to do on your any structure whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and order that you are in compliance as of today, but I'm going to issue a finding of fact, which means if it occurs again, it would be treated as a repeat violation, and I'm going to forego costs at this time. But if you realize if there's a repeat violation and you're back before me, it could be up to $500 a day,
I understand.
okay?
And for the record, the actual wall sheathing and the drying was completed.
Okay.
So now we're waiting for, he understands, to go on record as me saying because he was gonna take so long with his shed that he had built, that I said, I would recommend you demoing it and then put it up after you get the permit. That in 6 months from now, I'll be checking to see if that permit is issued for the demo, and if it is, it needs to be down, or else it's gonna go back to the original.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so just maintain your communication with the county. I think that's going to be your best bet moving forward. You
Okay.
will get an order, but it will just state that it's a finding of fact, that there's no fine imposed or no penalties imposed at all, or no costs.
Okay.
But that if you are back before us for this same thing, then you stand to have a penalty of up to $500 a day imposed.
Okay.
Okay? And
you.
before you go, would you like to submit the electronic case file into
Yes,
the
ma'am.
record? Do you have any objection to the documents that were in front of you, put into the record that the county gave you?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. This is this was a sign off for the permit for the fence and the final inspection of the fence. This here was the final for the siding and the dry-in that was done. The other two are, I've got a demo permit for the shed and then the permit for the new structure, the porch.
Okay, and I think that he's on the right track.
Yes.
And so you're fine, just continue your communication with the county.
Okay.
Do you have any objections to the
No.
documents that they gave you being submitted into the record?
To go on record, I will not be here as of next month for the next hearing, so take the cards with you, so in case you try to call me, Jason will be filling in for me.
Okay.
So if you need to get a hold of someone, you'll be talking to
Okay.
the office staff, or you'll be talking to Jason.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Who do I submit these to?
They're yours.
Oh, okay.
You keep those for your records.
Yeah, you can keep those, because they have that information in their system.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I want to go back on the record on 2436 CESM and 2437 CESM. Would you like to submit the electronic case file into the record in those cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will accept that. Okay, the next case is 2439 CESM, Rock of Central Florida Incorporated, Stephen Parker. Can you state your name, please?
Stephen Parker.
If you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. For the record, the name is Vicki Hathaway, Building Inspector for Seminole County Building Division. This is in regards to 2439 CESM, Rock of Central Florida, Inc. This is at 6641 West State Road 46 in Sanford, in Seminole County, Florida. The violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of the violation: installation of a shed without the required permits. This is a copy of the inspection screen that shows the initial inspection was done on 7/27 of '23. Given a notice to the respondent the following day. There were compliance and extension dates that were given multiple times, also site follow-up visits, and also via the computer. At this point, the violation remains on the property. This is a copy of the property appraiser's card showing that the Rock is actually the owner of the property and in possession of it. This is a copy of the green card of certified return mail that was received. These are a picture of the actual shed itself, the photo that was taken on 7/27 of '23. This is a photo of the unpermitted shed, again taken on 9/20 of '23, and again on 12/18 of '23. This is the most recent photo we have on 6/10 of '24. They've added on newly addition deck, which is another violation itself, but that's in a different case. This is a copy of the where the shed is sitting there in AP status at this point in time, waiting to be paid for and issued. But at this point, there are no permits issued for it. This is a copy of the permit application that was received on 9/19 of '23, an E-plan, and the comments that went with it. Do you want to hear the comments?
Yeah, I mean, just if you can give me a summary of the comments.
Okay, basically, the
Record.
the comments are telling them that the fees are due for this at this point in time, and all they need to do is accept it on their end and pay for it.
Okay.
This is the Rock of Central Florida, the Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, showing the permitting process for the Rock. And again, the recommendation based on the testimony and the evidence presented in case number 2439 CESM is determined that the respondents are the record owner of the property located at 6641 West State Road 46 in Sanford, in Seminole County, and determined to be the property appraiser's records. In possession or control of the property and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. It's further recommended that the special magistrate order the respondents to correct the violations on or before October 9th of 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondents shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondents do not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance once the permit is issued. This concludes my case.
Would you like to submit the electronic case file into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any objection to the electronic case file being submitted into the record?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I do have one question. Have you initiated the case on the
Yes, ma'am.
railings?
Yes,
and-
ma'am.
And it's been sent to them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, sir?
It's cold in here. You know, I don't know how honest I can be. I'm just going to be as honest as I can. I'm the pastor of the Rock. There are a lot of blunders made, and I'm not trying to deny that. What I can tell you is the way this all got started is because we have the preschool and the school and the church and all of that goes on there, and we needed storage. I instructed Sam, one of my staff members, to reach out to a shed company. Let's find a shed, let's put a shed on the site that does not require permitting so that we can move the stuff that we had in the building into the shed. So whatever the small or the largest shed we can get that can simply be put in place, let's do that. He reached out to a shed company that was in Lake County, Granny's, whatever it's called. They told us you can put this size shed on your property without permitting. They installed the shed. We thought we were all in good. We've done everything we can to do. In fact, I've told Jason, I said, we have jumped through hoops for 25 years to be above and beyond with Seminole County. We have called to see if we needed inspections when we changed the tile on the church floor. We called to see if we needed inspections when we changed door slabs on 2 doors that were destroyed. We didn't, but we called to see if we needed them. When we were informed that a permit was needed for that shed, first of all, I was surprised. But I told Sam, I said, reach out to an acquaintance of mine, Dove Builders. Let's see if he'll help out. Tom Kaysen called me personally. I said, Tom, can you help us with this? We had no idea we needed this permit. Tom said, I'll take care of it. I'll see it through. To my knowledge, that's what happened. When the comments were coming in, as far as I was concerned, Tom Kaysen was dealing with all of these, or Dove Builders was dealing with all of these. In fact, the first time I even knew there was a $528 fee due was just now, when you read that. That's the first time I was even aware. And that was in September of last year. I had personally,
Did you talk to him about the fees over there? I didn't know what the cost was.
I just saw it on your,
Oh, okay.
on
okay.
the screen, and it's in one of these.
Okay.
So that's the first time I was even aware. I would have gladly paid that fine. We're not trying to sneak through windows or fly under the radar. We've never done that, and we'll never do that.
Is that Sam
So-
Showoff?
What is it?
Shohoff?
Schoaf, Sam Schoaf.
Okay, because we've been in communication with him.
Right, and I know he has been communicating with y'all, but the first time that I saw that a $528 fee was required was in whatever form that is, it's in this paperwork. You right there?
Let me just go on the record to make it clear. I've not talked to anybody there. I spoke to one of your maintenance men, probably the last violation when I was out there, to take the pictures, and I told him, I said, listen, you guys have added on to this. you're gonna have another violation sent to you when the other one's not even permitted. And he's like, well, we're working on it, so I don't wanna hear it. So I was like, okay.
Well, I don't know what kind of conversation happened there, but I can tell you this stack of papers right here, and you guys are welcome to have them, is the copies of emails and phone calls that we've had with the county over and over, including myself with Tony Coleman, over and over. The
Tony's our
reason,
plans examiner, yes, that's
and the
correct.
reason that those steps were added to that shed was because we were told they were necessary. So we did that because that's what we were told to do. From our perspective, the rock has jumped through hoops. Every time we've been told to do A, we've done A to the extent that we know how to do it. We've inquired of Dove Builders, how do we do this correctly? We take the information we've been given and we apply it. And that's where we're at now. Last I heard was, as of yesterday, it says permit listed as pre-issuance, final verification. I don't know what that means, but I'm hoping we're close because we have been trying to make this thing right since June of last year.
Okay.
We are not, and let me just say, again, I'd like to emphasize, for 25 years that we've been in Seminole County, we have served this county. We have never tried ever to hide a single thing. We've not snuck anyone in or out, tried to sneak through the doors or windows, anything that we've done, whether it's building or anything else. And that's our heart.
That's not my accusation. What I'm saying is because it was applied for as an owner-builder, you can't do that as an owner-builder since it's a corporation.
However, Dove applied for the permit back in September.
Correct. There's just been corrections that keep going back to whoever it is, and I show Sam as being the person that's
Because he
given the
was issued
comments.
power of attorney back in March of this year. Dove said, we're going to issue you power of attorney so that you can take care of this because these are small things.
I understand.
So that's kind of what occurred, and this is where all the blunders have taken place. It's not just been I'm not going to accept all the responsibility because there's been confusion going both ways. The lack of clear communication has hindered us from being able to see this thing through, and there's nobody in this room that wants to do this right more than we do. Nobody. We're doing everything that we possibly can. So whatever we need to do to make this right going forward, we will, as long as we know what to do. And we've worked with everybody we know to work with.
Had you paid fees to your contractor for permit fees?
We haven't paid him anything. He's never asked for a fee.
Okay, so but you realize there will be a fee
I
associated
do.
with the permit?
And he did know from the very beginning. I said, Tom, whatever you need, we're happy to pay for it. He's never asked. So that's where we're at.
And when was the fee, because I thought you had said it was last year that the fee was told it was due, but that's saying that it's just like 10 days ago.
It just recently got issued, correct, or not issued, but approved. So the corrections were finalized. I've got a list of corrections on the back of this that plans review has been at back and forth with them. I've never once spoken to anybody except for a maintenance man that was on grounds trying to get to the contact person of who is responsible for this. Because it's, it's a serious thing, and I tried to get to the right person.
Sure.
To let them know, hey, this is what's gonna happen if we don't get this permit issued.
So by plans review, do you mean plans review in your office?
Plans review in our office, that
Okay.
is correct. So if the contractor has been in touch with them, we're
Okay.
not seeing it except for what's on these papers that are going back and forth, and they're calling them to get the corrections fixed because I've got almost 3 pages of corrections on here, so I'm sure there was a lot of conversation.
So they're not putting it in the notes, they're just having those conversations?
Well, they don't actually put their notes in, but we put our notes in.
Okay, so
Because
it's
it's a
just
violation.
Okay,
This is everyday stuff to them, reviewing permits and trying to get them through.
okay. So has the fee been paid, or is that fee due?
It's waiting to be paid.
Okay, so you have a fee that's due.
Okay?
I think that if you could get this permit issue worked out along with the permit issue for the ramp and all at the same time, I think that would be beneficial. Now, I'm assuming that they wouldn't be back here on the ramp and stairs till next month.
I don't know when they're going. We're pretty backed up at this
Okay,
point in
you
time,
are,
so they're
so-
gonna have some time to get it in. But he needs to get our card and be in touch with us also because the violation is coming out of this area of the office.
Right.
Plans review has their role, we have our role. They're two separate things.
I understand that they're two separate things, but there needs to be some communication because of the fact that if someone's reviewing plans, that means that someone's trying to get a permit.
I agree.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so I guess what I was getting at is if, I know you're only asking till the October 9th meeting. Do you believe that it's possible to get even everything completed for him to get a permit for the stairs and ramp as well by that time?
They'll need to apply for it, and I don't think, I don't know, because this has been kind of going back and forth between plans review and the contractor, so,
Okay,
but it will require a permit.
okay.
What requires a permit that isn't?
The
steps
stairs
the
and ramp.
Okay, because I also thought that was completed, because as far as I know, the steps and all of that was completed last week.
And there wasn't a permit for it, is what they're saying.
Okay.
Tony told you that it needs to have stairs. Then did they draw the stairs in there? Because I didn't look at the actual plans themselves.
They did.
Yeah, they do have it in
They
here,
did,
so
yes.
that would close out the case then.
Okay, so then what I'd like to do is maybe give him until the November 14th meeting, which have a compliance date of November 13th instead of October 9th, to try to get everything.
What she's saying is if he pays for it today, the permit will be issued and it'll clear up all of it.
Okay,
I'll pay it.
okay.
Who do I give the card to?
Then I'll go back to, the October 9th date if that is all that is needed, even including the stairs and ramp.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
If you would, please take my card in the future.
I will.
If you have a question on what needs permitted, please call us, because every structure in Seminole County requires a permit.
Okay.
See, and that's what we tried to do.
Every structure.
But you know what? We messed up. I messed up. It's nobody's fault but mine in that regard, because I accepted that Lake County
Don't listen.
somehow, their requirements would apply here. That's my bad.
No, we're all different, and they all have their own rules. We're probably one of the tightest codes that I've seen. So we just want to make sure that public safety is safe, because we don't want buildings launching across in hurricanes. But we'll be glad to talk to you, but everything needs a permit.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and order that the permits that they have in fact indicated that you are in violation on the property, that the property be brought into compliance through the issuance of the necessary permits by October 9th, 2024, or a fine in the amount of $50 a day would be imposed.
Fair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can't take it.
Okay, the next case, 2441 CESM J5 Properties, 8650 LLC, Gary Allen Jensen. And can you state your name, please?
Brett Crowfoot?
Okay, and you're here on behalf of the corporation?
Yes, I'm the general contractor they hired.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, for the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Building Inspector with Seminole County Building. This is in regards to 2441 CESM J5 Properties at 8650 LLC in regards to 1980 Howell Branch Road, Winter Park, Florida, Seminole County, Florida. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of the violation, complete the interior renovation and changes of use without the required permits. This is a copy of the permitting screen or the initial inspection screen that shows on 8/14/23. Fire issued a stop work order to them and issued a code violation to them as well. Notice to the respondent went out from us on 9/22/23, given a compliance date of 10/6/23, 10/27/23, and 11/1/23. Follow-up site visits happened on the following, which was 10/18/23, 12/15 of '23, and 7/10 of '24. Follow-up via site inspections, it shows multiple ones that have been done. Violation still remains on the property. This is a copy of the J5 Properties 8650 LLC that shows that they are in possession of and in control of the property. This is a copy of a notice of posting that was done on 7/1 of '24. This is a picture of the violation that remains on 7/10 of '24. This is a photo of the interior renovations obtained from fire taken on 8/14 of '23. These are photos of the interior renovations obtained from fire taken on 8/14 again of '23. Photos of the additional power supply to food truck from fire taken on 8/14 of '23. This is photos of return certified mail posted on the property dated 10/18 of '23. This is a copy of the return certified mail posted on the property that was dated 12/18 of '23. This is a copy of the permitting screen that shows that no permits have been issued. This is a copy of J5 Properties in the Seminole County Code, Appendix 40, Chapter A, regarding the permitting process. And the recommendation based on the testimony and the evidence presented in the case number 2441 CESM is determined that the respondents are the record owner of the property and located at 1980 Howell Branch Road in Winter Park, Florida, and Seminole County, as determined by the property appraiser's records, is in possession and control of the property and in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. This concludes my, it's further recommended that the special magistrate order the respondent to correct the violation on or before October 9th of 2024. In order to correct the violation, the respondent shall obtain the required permits for the cited violation. If the respondents do not comply with the order, a fine of $50 will be imposed for each day the violation continues or is repeated after compliance. The respondent must contact the inspector to verify compliance or that the permit has been issued. This concludes my presentation.
Okay. Would you like to submit the electronic case file into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any objection to the electronic case file that's in front of you being submitted into the record? Okay, I'll accept it into the record. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
We were just engaged about a month ago on this, so we got our architect to do drawings. We received those Monday or Tuesday of this week and submitted those digitally yesterday. We received some comments back, so they're working on those, but the permit's kind of in process as far as getting applied for. So we've got everything moving forward as far as.
Okay, do you see a problem with October 9th as a compliance date?
No, it's all with the building department now, so as long as we get through those reviews by then, shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. And you were hired just a month ago.
Yeah, there was some back and forth between the owner and the tenant as far as responsibility, who was handling it. I think they just had some miscommunication on who was addressing this, so they finally threw up their hands and gave us a call.
Okay, all right. Then I'm going to go ahead and find that there is a violation on the property for failure to obtain the necessary permits for the interior renovations that were done. I'm going to order compliance be achieved by October 9th, 2024, or a fine in the amount of $150 a day will be imposed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now all of our next cases are compliance cases. Okay. And go ahead and call Mr. Love first. Let's do 2367 CESM, Efrain Lima and Kelly Andres. Mr. Love.
2367.
Mr. Love will do all three of your cases back to back.
Thank you. Thank you.
For the record, we have two cases today for them.
Yes. And then now he has a third
Okay.
that he's representing,
Okay.
so.
Would you like me to just start reading since it's Okay.
Yep.
For the record, name is Vicki Hathaway with Seminole County Building Division, Inspector. In regards to 2367 CESM, Ephraim Lima and Kelly Andres at Lowry Drive in Oviedo. The violation charge was Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, construction without the required permits. This case was originally heard by the special magistrate on November the 16th of 2023. An order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of July 10th of 2024 with a scheduled meeting of July 11th of 2024. An estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector totals $806.23. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $96.36. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $902.59 for both the inspector and the clerk. The recommendation based on the Special Magistrate Board to issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $50 per day for 1 day of noncompliance from July 10th of 24 through the including to July 11th of 2024 at $50 per day, and the fine shall accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th, 2024. This concludes my presentation.
Okay. Mr.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, McGregor Love, 215 North Eola Drive. When we were last here, several months ago, we were dealing with a separate violation, of course. That was for my representation of my clients in this matter. That was the moment where I really handed off the pursuing of the permitting issue to them. It had been an expensive process for them this far. You'll recall that they were occupying the structure and they had to move out and are occupying a separate residence now, which is all positive developments in the case overall. They have not been able to kind of push the permitting matter forward in the way that they had hoped. And in speaking with them yesterday, I am going to become involved again to help them navigate that process. I've met with the building official and other folks from the county previously. I have a good understanding of what the county feels they need from my clients, and I believe that I can help them, get the permitting issue to where it needs to be. It's not there today, but if we have some more time, I'm confident we can get there. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, Your Honor.
Okay, so are you, because right now this is a compliance hearing and they're not in compliance. So
Correct.
the fine would start to run because they haven't done what they needed to do.
Correct, and I would request some additional time in order to sort out the permitting issues if you're inclined to grant it.
Okay, so let me ask this. Have they had any contact with you
No.
trying to work it out?
No, ma'am.
I generally have a hard time giving additional time when, on this one, we gave them till July 10th from, I think we heard this case
We did hear it.
at the beginning of the year. It was,
And I agree. I'm not asking for several more months. Even if we had one more month, I'm confident I could get some progress in this, and I could at least give you an update that would give you a better idea of what direction we're headed in. But I do appreciate that you don't want to just keep giving them however much time they need. We can press this with some urgency.
This is going to be the next one. I'll read.
okay, so I will, I'll give an additional 30 days, but I would advise you to let them know that each time that I have given continuances, it's racking up the costs that are going to be incurred as well, because I'm not going to give on the costs on this one, because they have, they've caused the county a lot of heartache by not allowing them on the property and when they should have. So I'll give a continuance till the next meeting, which would be August the 8th. So we'll just we'll extend their compliance time till August 8th with everything else remaining the same.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next matter is 2417 CESM, Efrain Lima and Kelly Andres. Let me make sure that, let's go back to that 2367 CESM. Do you have any problem with the electronic case file being submitted into the record?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll accept that. Okay, now let's do 2417 CESM, please.
Okay, this is, for the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building Division. This is in regards to 2417 CESM, Efrain Lima and Kelly Andres at 3125 Lowry Drive, Oviedo, Seminole County, Florida. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of the violation is installation of a gazebo, well, addition to main structure, including interior build-out, to include but not limited to the plumbing, electrical, mechanical, and accessory structures, including the sheds, the Connex containers, without the required permits. On April 11th of 2024, an order was given issuing the compliance date of July 10th of 2024 with a meeting on July 11th. The estimated administrative cost to process this by the inspector was $526.30. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $133.44. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $659.74 for both the inspector and the clerk. The recommendation based on the special magistrate issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $250 a day for 1 day of noncompliance from July 10th of 2024 through and including July 11th of 2024 at $250 per day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $250 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th of 2024. This concludes my presentation. I did want to bring the building official up here. He did want to speak on this case,
Okay,
if that's okay.
sure.
We'll show the pictures.
Can we show the pictures, please?
Yeah, the pictures on the slide.
Mr.
Need
Pike,
to
can
be
I
sworn
swear?
in?
Yes, sir. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
I do.
truth? Thank you.
For the record, Bob Pike, building official, Seminole County. Your Magistrate, as you know, we had removed power from the main building because it was deemed unsafe because they had somehow got a service from 60 amp to 400 without permitting and inspections. So they were living in the building, and we deemed it unsafe without any of the necessary inspections to deem it safe. So once we had pulled the power, they had asked for a cheap hole for the security light. So I would not do that unless they renewed the permit. That way it became an active construction site again. So they did renew the permit, and we allowed them to have a 60 amp temporary service. And what you're looking at there is, and that's for the security light only, and for an outlet for construction purposes. What you're looking at is the 400 amp main there that was, the meter was removed, and they had installed a 60 amp main on the backside of that rack, which you're seeing, and to feed that light pole. Well, we just recently went out, and the electrical inspector that did the inspection for the temporary pole has stated to me that when he was out there, the 400 amp, which you're looking at, was glassed off, meaning they removed the meter and put a glass plate over that opening. This recent picture shows now there's a meter back in that 400 amp main and a lock on it, and there's no sticker showing that we have inspected and approved that. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm asking that, notifying that the attorney here for the Limas that I will need to go out tomorrow and inspect this property for the service that we approved. And if not granted access, I have to deem it unsafe and remove the temporary power to the property.
Okay. And then, but with respect to all of these permits, they were able to pull a permit for the temporary electric?
Temporary pole, right, because they renewed their permit for the metal building, which has never had its inspections completed.
Okay. And then, but all of the other, there aren't permits for any of the other?
No, we have not received any permits for any build-out, any gazebos, any electric gate, any other accessory structures, awnings. We have no permits for any of that.
Have they attempted to have any
We
communication?
have had no contact with them.
Other than when they got the temporary?
Correct, that was it.
When was that?
We'd have to go back. We have record of that? That was definitely last year sometime.
Did they ask for the temporary?
Yeah, they wanted power. I said, I'd only give you a temporary pole if you renew the permit. When was that?
I don't have the tablet, it just says it was issued 2024.
We've also asked for a site plan. We can't get it from them because we can't move with the permitting process until we get something.
So the temporary power, I'm trying to figure out when the change occurred. Like when they, because when did your inspector go out for where the 400 amp was glassed over?
Yeah, they glassed over the power company, removed the meter and put a glass plate over that. Have Jason pulling it up. We're trying to get up right now in Avalon, but
Okay.
it must have been issued earlier this year.
Okay.
But
And then what caused you to find out that
because of this case today, we wanted to go by and see what was going on.
okay, so you went back out there and
Correct, to be ready for today.
Re-inspect every case we have.
were you allowed on the property or is this visible?
I'll let Vicki speak on that.
Okay.
It's visible from the gate, because those pictures were originally ones that I had taken when I was out there with the building official. He did place a call to them yesterday to let them know he intends on pulling the power after today's hearing. And we haven't heard back from him. I haven't talked to anybody out there at this point in time since the case started.
Okay.
And I can speak to that. So
Okay.
just for a little bit of background, because I know there's a lot of, permits and amps going on here. The context in which we went from 400 to the 60 was after Mr. Pike determined there was an imminent life safety risk from the 400 and turned off the power entirely. The Limas then began the process of moving out of the building. They were using generators at night to sort of move things out of the building. They were going through a ton of gas. I helped the Limas kind of work with Mr. Pike and said, listen, here's the discrete power that they need just for site safety when they're out there at night, moving things off the property or maintaining, the land itself. And as far as I am aware, and again, similar to the county, I have been, letting the Limas kind of work through some of the permitting issues and will be more actively involved in that. But my understanding is that they have been living on their rented property. They have a 1-year lease, and they're not actively out there, and that no change has been made to the 60 amp. And I will advise, Mr. Pike and I spoke just before this hearing, I will advise my clients to cooperate with any inspection the county wants, and we'll do that moving forward. So I will talk to them about this, and we'll make sure the county's comfortable with what's going on.
Okay. What if there is, I mean, if this 400 amp meter is back in there, is it operational? Do you have any way of knowing whether it's operational?
First of all, the permit for the temporary was inspected on April 24th of '24.
Okay.
It was approved for the 60 amp for the light pole only.
Okay.
And for an outlet for construction. Something's changed. I don't know why we have a meter out there in the 400 amp. We have no sticker on it. We've had no inspection. Something's changed.
Okay.
So I have to assume it's unsafe, so that's why I need to get on the property to inspect it. So I will need to look at that tomorrow. That would be the deadline for me to get me out there tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
So then, if it is changed and it is hooked up, what is your process? Does that mean that you would pull the,
That's a temporary power pole, and we will remove the power for it.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And deem it unsafe.
Okay, so I'm going to extend this case as well to the next hearing date, but I'm also going to order that Mr. Pike be let on the property tomorrow. And if Mr. Pike is not let on the property tomorrow, I'm going to retroactively impose the fines starting today at $250 a day. That's what they would have gone into effect at today. So if he's not allowed on the property today, I'll retroactively impose the fines as of today to start accruing. If they let him on the property and let him do what he needs to do, then the case will be continued till the August 8th hearing and we'll hear it again for compliance.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to my clients about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I believe you have one more.
Yes.
2425 CESM Ahmed and Sakina Nur Mohammed.
Okay.
Thank you.
And also for the last case, the 3420, or the 2417 CESM, will accept the electronic case file into the record if there's no objection.
No objection, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, for the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building Division. This is in regards to 2425 CESM Ahmed and Sakina Nur Mohammed at 846 Isle Point, Sanford, Seminole County, Florida. The violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1. Description of the violation: installation of a retaining wall without the required permits. This case was originally heard by the special magistrate on April 11th of 2024, and an order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of July 10th of 2024 with a meeting date of July 11th of 2024. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector totals $420.44. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $96.74. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $517.18 for both the inspector and the clerk. The recommendation based on the Special Magistrate Board issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $50 for 1 day of noncompliance from July 10th of 2024 through and including July 11th of 2024 at $50 per day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th of 2024. This concludes my presentation.
Okay, would you like to submit the electronic case file into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any objections?
No objection.
Okay.
So I met Ahmed on the way out of these chambers back in April, and he asked me to help with this matter, and I'm sure that I wasn't here for his initial hearing, but I'm sure he provided you with some context. I'll give you a brief refresher. Back during the Irma and the other hurricane that I can't remember, the first one that came through caused a significant amount of water intrusion to his property, and as the next one was coming through, Ahmed sort of took it upon himself to, in the very, days and hours before the next one, build a retaining wall that would protect his property against water intrusion. And then, of course, he ran into some issues with first his homeowners association and then the county. So the process is a little bit twofold from here. My understanding from looking at the communications with the county is that the engineered drawings that he has submitted and worked through are on the county's side no longer having, drawing any comments for revisions, but the direction that he's received is, well, now you have to get approval from your homeowners association. Back in during last month, we went before the Architectural Review Committee. Mr. Ahmed actually had to handle that alone because of some notice issues regarding my presence there. But what the committee told Ahmed and myself is that they believe they do not have the power to approve or even review at all any structure within a 17-foot conservation easement. So they gave us documents that they believe dictated that, and having read them, I disagree with their opinion about it, so we are going to go back before them on July 17th and make the case that that they have the authority to review this structure, and we are going to attempt to get their approval for it. So I would ask for 1 month should be sufficient back until August to give you, at a minimum, a much more productive kind of status update. And if I've misstated anything about the county's review of this, I'm happy to hear from them and to be corrected on that. That's just my understanding, but I've not been directly involved.
I will also advise you that the Land Development Code specifically prohibits any construction within a conservation easement. So there might have been some confusion back and forth between myself and the homeowner, which I have tried to clearly correct with him verbally and in person here at previous hearings and on the phone. He has not resubmitted for me to correct my comment in the permit. So he has been advised that while my communication on the permit review might not have been exactly correct to him in that permit review, the Land Development Code does prohibit construction within a conservation easement.
Okay, so then what I would ask for, because this is the first I'm hearing of this on the county side, and that's fine, is the 1 month to have that conversation and fully kind of get my arms around the county's issue as well.
Okay, so have those permit, and let me go ahead and retroactively swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, and for the record, Megan Zanorski, Project Coordinator, Planning and Zoning.
Okay, so has the, Megan, has the comments, have they been updated from your standpoint?
No, ma'am, because he has not resubmitted, and this has been going on for probably over a year. I have not seen this permit back in quite some time.
And what do you mean resubmitted? Because he submitted?
Because he submitted for review. I made the comments back to him, and he has called. He's been in here before you, but he has not ever provided me additional plans or anything to re-review. So I've not had it back to correct my comment or provide him additional comments on that permit. It's all been verbal or here in this hearing before you.
Okay, and so are you now saying that there's no way he could get this permit issued, period?
He would have to relocate it outside of the conservation easement. It's not that he can't get a permit, he would just have to relocate it outside of the easement.
Okay.
Which is why unpermitted construction is such a slippery slope, because if you don't have that permit issued prior to construction,
Right.
that's a risk you take.
Another factual question here that we may need to more fully drill down on is kind of whether some portion of the wall structure is within the the easement area or without of it. Some of it may be located outside the easement area, some of it may be located within the easement area. That may be something that you have some understanding of, Megan?
Yes, if I remember correctly, part of it is located outside of the easement and a portion of it is located within the property owner's rights. So it kind of meanders, so only a portion of it would need to be relocated.
Okay.
So it's not the entire structure from what I recall. Again, it's been several
Okay.
months since I've reviewed it, but it kind of does this, and the easement also somewhat meanders on the back end of that property. Again, it's recollection, but yes, it was only a portion from what I recall.
Okay, then that's another issue we can work through. Thank you.
Okay, so with this information and it being provided to you for the first time here today, I'm actually going to change the compliance date to September 11th, with the hearing date being on the 12th. So you can try to work through these issues and possibly get the permit issued before we're back here.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and issue that order. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, the next case, 2243 CESM, Maria Gabort and Abel Gabort. Hi there. Can we move the microphone toward him a little bit? Is that possible? Maybe.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Gort, if you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, for the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building Division. This is a lien request in regards to 2243 CESM Maria and Abel Gabort at 1365 North County Road 426 in Oviedo, Florida, 32765. The violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, construction without the required permits. This case was originally heard by the Special Magistrate on May 12th of 2022. An order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of July 15th of 2022. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on July 22nd, 2022. On April 13th of 2023, an order was issued extending the compliance date to July 13th of 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on July 17th of 2023. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector total $715.02. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $202.85. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to total dates $917.87 for both the inspector and the clerk. The recommendation, based on the special magistrate order, an issue constituting a lien in the amount of $18,250 for 365 days of noncompliance from July 13th of 2023 through and including July 11th of 2024 at $50 per day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th of 2024. This concludes my presentation.
Okay, was the compliance date July 13th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, yes, sir?
Well, first of all, I've been on that property for over 17, 18 years. And that gate, I also spoke to a gentleman on the third floor, and she knows me too. I went upstairs and talked about this thing, and I've been disabled well over 30-something years. And that gate has always, in the name of God, always been there. About this so-called permits and all that, I wasn't even unaware that this thing, supposedly, I had to pull permits out. When I bought that property, it was inspected by the people that got me the house, the realtor company. So I wasn't even aware of this so-called, permitting stuff that gate has always been there, always. I have my cousin there that he's been with me for 18 years, and I never erected anything in that property other than what you guys are talking about.
So, sir, if there was not a permit on the gate when you purchased it,
Well,
it is...
Miss, first of all, Judge, I want you to understand where I'm coming from. If you buy something...
Sir, can I finish?
Okay, go ahead.
When you buy a piece of property, it is your responsibility, whether there are permits or not, to make sure that there are permits. That's what the due diligence period is for. And if there have not been permits pulled for the various things that are on your property, it is your responsibility. So there are several cases. This case happened to come before a prior magistrate, not myself. And she ordered you to come into compliance. And then there was a continuance or a amended order that gave additional time. So that tells me that someone came back.
Well, I was here last year also.
Okay.
And they had adjourned my case because of some, I guess, office staff were being changed. And when I got there on that seat, no one ever called me. And I even came up to the podium, and I don't know whoever told me, everything is okay. This is what I was told.
Okay, well, I have two orders. All I can go off is what's in the public record. And the public record in this case indicates that there was an order that was entered on May 12th of 2022. And then there was another order extending the date for compliance that was entered on April 13th, 2023. So someone had to have come here to ask for continuance or an extension of time for compliance, because it was granted. And it was granted, and the cases are in your name. The first one was Ernest Tuminello. So did Ernest Tuminello own the property before you?
If I could remember that, I don't remember who that was. It's been so many years. I don't remember who was.
When did you buy the property?
If I recall, 2008, 2009, I don't remember it.
Can you look at the property appraiser, Jason?
Yeah, I have it.
The actual violation is for 2 sheds and the electric gates. Fire doesn't allow a gate in the right-of-way without having a permit.
Okay, and it looks like you purchased in 2006?
It looks like there might have been a prior case on it then.
I'm not sure who the Ernesto Tuminello is. Maybe that was the
Prior
issue.
owner.
No, because
No.
he purchased in 2006, so
Yeah.
maybe that was the issue, but then there is a case. Do you have the green card for the amended order? Is there a affidavit of posting or anything? So was the property actually posted?
All of our notes we have here are from '22, so
This is that's a posting of this hearing, correct?
Right, yes.
Okay, so the hearing that I'm talking about is the one that was held on April 13th, 2023. It says that there is a notice of hearing that was provided, but I don't have how it was. Okay, there is an affidavit of posting that it was posted on the property. And you said you were here a year ago.
Yes, yes, Judge.
Okay, and so at that time, the compliance was extended, and you were given 60 days roughly, actually July, so 3 months to come into compliance. So it was about a year ago, and then there's been no other contact?
Well, the last time I was here, Judge, they just told me that everything was okay. I mean, otherwise, you know, they told me that they was changing staff on the third floor, and it was something that had to do with the people being moved, or, you know, this is what I was told. And it was adjourned.
He did not show up. Okay, so let's swear you in, and if you can provide some testimony with your mic. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And Alexis, if you'll provide your name. Yeah, I know, that's why I was, I was thinking you were going to use your, it's okay.
Alexis Pelletier, for the record, planning specialist in planning and zoning. The minutes were reviewed, he came in, his case was continued, and then he didn't appear for the next one.
Okay, and so the case was continued for the date that was heard, the order extending, which was
July.
the April 13th hearing he did not appear for.
April, May, June, July. He
'Cause
came in April, where it was then continued.
Okay, and then he did not appear in July?
Correct.
Okay, and then it's just
And then that's where the order.
sat, okay. So you did appear, the minutes indicate that you did appear at the April hearing and it was heard, and then that you were given till July to come into compliance and you did nothing.
Well, I was in the hospital also, Judge. I have cancer. Okay, so,
But you didn't make any effort to contact the county or have anyone else contact the county?
I am severely taking heavy narcotics for my pain, okay? At times I'm okay, at times I'm in a different world, okay? I've been disabled for 30 years, okay? And I'm here to, let's put an end to this thing. I want to have my life back, because every time you guys post that on my house, I feel like I'm a criminal, which I'm not. And I just want to end this. Tell me what to do, and we'll get it over and done with. I want to
Well-
live in peace.
Well, I think they've tried to do that, and you haven't. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do, because there is some discrepancy in the record with respect to the name on the case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to impose the fine starting today, and it will be $50 a day that it will accrue, which was from the prior order. So I'm not going to go retroactively back to the original date of July 13th, 2023. I'm going to start it accruing today at $50 a day. And it will accrue until such time as you receive the necessary permits that you are supposed to receive. I'm also going to impose administrative costs in the amount of $917.87, which will be due and payable in 60 days from today's date, or let me give you that date. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do it to the
Well, Judge, also letting you know, I do not work. I'm on the SSI, and my income is very limited.
Okay, the fine must be paid by September 11th, 2024. The costs, I'm sorry, not the fine, the costs in the amount of $917.87 must be paid by September 11th, or it will accrue as a lien against the property. And also, the fine amount will be imposed starting today of $50 a day and will accrue until such time as you obtain the necessary permits.
Okay, now what I gotta do, pull out permits for the gate again?
Yes.
Okay.
You're sitting in corrections for the gate, because they're not meeting the requirements, so
The gate's been routed to traffic engineering, it's sitting on my desk. I'm
Can
waiting
it-
for traffic engineering.
Okay. So,
Thank you. You could always pull a demo permit and remove the gates?
Well, my safety means for that gate, miss.
Okay,
And anybody can just go in there and, do damage to me and my wife, and my mom also, who's 96 years old.
okay. I was just offering a solution.
Well, I'm gonna pull the permits as you requested. Okay?
Yes, excuse me.
I just want to let you know that that gate has been there ever since we bought our property. That's the only thing I can tell you. I also spoke to a gentleman upstairs, Jim Potter, and he showed me exactly where the gate is, and according to this lady too, and a lady named Megan. I spoke to Megan also.
Megan's right
Oh,
here.
Megan is there, okay. I just didn't know.
Good afternoon, Megan Zanorski, Planning and Zoning. The permit for the gate has been routed to traffic engineering for review. My understanding, I have not seen the permit. I believe it's been a year. There's a gate access control that's sitting in the corrections drawer that also needs to be routed. That's pending corrections, I believe, from fire. I don't believe that I've seen that yet for review in quite a while. I think Angie Kielhofer, who's now Gates, was the last person to review that. I could be wrong. It's been well over a year since that's been routed for review. I don't know the status of the shed permits, if there's been shed permits. They're gone, okay. So the gate is pending traffic engineering approval for the setback for the road. As far as I'm concerned. So that could be potentially issued by Monday or Tuesday of next week pending payment. And then we have the gate access control issue, which still, I think, has fire.
Fire has to review it.
And then I have to review where the,
Right now, that gate,
Whether or not
anyone
the-
can open it. The motor is burnt out. Anyone can open that gate.
okay, so I've made my ruling, and the quicker you can get the permit issued,
I will do that honestly to the judge.
the more, okay, fantastic. And then anything that needs to be paid on that, that would be great. And we will send you the order in the mail. But I urge you to continue with
I will
communicating.
definitely, once I leave this door, I'm gonna go right now and apply for that permit again.
Okay, fantastic.
Can I just say for the record, if you do remove the electric off of it because it's not working, it will require a demolition permit for that. On the electric part of the gate.
Well, excuse me, Macy, if I have the money, I will pay for all this. I am under SSI, and that thing has been there always, always. So you're putting me on the cross. I don't have money in my pocket until I get paid on the 3rd.
Okay, I've made my ruling. I'm going to accept the electronic case file into the record. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
That's it?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you. Okay, the next case is Mary Wilcox, 2310 CESM.
Hmm? 2410 or 2310.
Okay, Ms. Wilcox, if you'll raise your right hand, please.
That's my grandmother.
Oh.
My name is Trinica Hobbs.
Okay, I'm sorry about
No,
that.
you're cool.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, for the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building Division. This is in regards to 2310 CESM, Mary L. Wilcox Air at 9636 McNorton Road, Altamont Springs, Florida, 32714.
Can you move the mic in front of her?
Can you put the mic in front of her?
Thank you.
Please. This case was originally heard by the special magistrate on January 12th of 2023, and an order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of March 9th of 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on March 15th of 2023. An estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector totals $579.86. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector totals $579.86. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $96.74. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $676.60 for both the inspector and the clerk. Recommendation that the Special Magistrate Board issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $24,550 for 491 days of noncompliance from March 9th of 2023 through and including July 11th of 2024 at $50 per day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th of 2024. This concludes my presentation.
Okay, would you like the electronic case file submitted into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an objection to the electronic case file being
I don't.
submitted to? Okay. Would you?
Oh, you want me to say something?
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, and I agree with everything probably here. I'm one of the grandkids. She does have 2 living kids. So my name got on it because, again, there was somebody else's name that was, and this was years ago. So I was like, who's paying property taxes? So that's how I was like, well, let me catch grandma's property. So I got wrapped into it. My cousin works for a lawn service round the corner. My uncle be there all the time. So I will not lie. I will sign something because I do believe you send them to my current address, and I'll sign off and I'll say, hey, you guys, I got this, fix it. I know I'm trying to convince them to sell it because at the end of the day, I do believe like my uncle has a drug problem. I don't feel like, and he feels like if I send somebody to pay, because I've tried to pay someone, go over there and get grandma yard and stuff up. Like, he's like, don't come on my, this, and ain't nobody be wanting to deal with all of that. So that's honestly where I'm coming at. I can't dispute any of this because I rarely go over there. I will not lie, my mail still come there because, I grew up there, but I have my own house and things like that. So I can't dispute any of this. I just can't. And I think my name is attached to it because I was the one when I said, let me catch up the property taxes, and that's how it is. But there are other, like she has actual children. Like my uncle and my aunt are the last 2 alive.
And they live, you have an uncle that lives on the property?
Behind the property, around the property, somewhere near it, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, so bringing the property in compliance is for them to get permits, though, for work that was done. So that's the only way. It's not so much mowing the grass. I'm sure that probably is an issue, too, from time to time, or maybe some of the accumulation of junk and debris. But this particular issue is related to permits for work that was done.
Okay.
So right now, because the order was issued over a year ago, the lien is up to $24,000
Got it.
on the property. And so the county does have a legitimate order that was entered, and it needs to be corrected.
Okay.
So the renovations. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to impose the lien. It started to accrue actually from March 9th, 2024, which was the original compliance date.
Okay.
So there will be a lien imposed of $24,250, and it will continue to accrue at $50 a day until such time as it's brought into compliance. I'm not going to add insult to injury by imposing fees and costs against you. I think the costs are low enough because probably there hasn't been a lot of communication with the county. So I am going to impose the lien, but it will continue to accrue.
Okay.
And the house is not homesteaded. So it could be foreclosed on. So I urge you to have them get the permits and get
Okay.
this taken care of. And then there may be a mechanism, once it's taken care of, that they could work on the lien with the county. There may be a reduction program or something like that. But really, the best course of action at this point is getting the permit issued,
Okay.
okay?
All right. Can I ask a quick question? And you might not know, or you might do. Because my thing, because I'm just tired of fighting a losing battle. If they sold it, how would that work? Because as far as I know, when my grandmother passed away, she didn't leave a will. And so I am just really not sure how any of this works. Like I said, I feel like my name was attached to it because I went in and was like, hey, I'm going to catch up property taxes. What y'all doing?
Well, your
And so-
name is not on any of the.
Okay.
Any of the documents that I have, and your grandmother is no longer living?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm wondering, I thought that the heir on this was kind of interesting. And I'm wondering if maybe that's a note from the property appraiser that an heir came in and paid the property taxes. So on top of it, you would probably need to contact an attorney that would be able to help you with probating this and getting it in your names appropriately, if that is what you wanted to do, or selling it. And then if you did sell it, obviously the liens are usually
Would
taken
come off
care
of
of
the- okay.
during,
Yeah, okay.
during the sale.
Okay.
So, but right now, it is not in your name.
Okay,
So-
cool. All right.
All right, thank you. Thank you for coming. I
No
appreciate
worries.
it.
Thank you.
No, I think they probably just put heir in there. Normally, they'll do estate, which is wrong also, because when it's not probated, it's not an estate. But, so, very interesting. Okay. Okay, the next case. (2313) CESM, Sophia Nasim and Irma Chowdhury.
Imran Chowdhury.
Okay, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
For the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector with Seminole County Building Division. This is in regards to case number 2313, CESM, Sophia Nasim and Imran Chandri at 1231 Stanley Street, Longwood, Florida, 32750. Violation charge of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, construction without the required permits. This case was originally heard by the special magistrate on February 9th of 2023. An order was issued given the respondent a compliance date of June 8th of 2023. An affidavit of noncompliance was filed by the inspector after reinspection on June 20th of 2023. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector totals $674.85. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $96.74. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $771.59 for both the inspector and the clerk. The recommendation that the magistrate special board issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $20,000 for 400 days of noncompliance from June 8th of 2023 through and including July 11th of 2024 at $50 a day, and the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th of 2024. This concludes my presentation.
Would you like to submit the electronic case file into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any objection to the electronic case file that's in front of you being submitted into the record?
I don't.
Okay, I'll accept it. Sir?
Magistrate, it was last year, I came in front of the board, and the reason for enclosing the carport was I have 3 special need children, and when we bring them from school, 9 years old especially, he would run away, and it was hard for us to, for the babysitter to handle him. So easier was to park the car inside, close the door so he can go inside the house. Originally, I obtained a gentleman who gave me the business card, which I have included to the file last year. Paid over $10,000 to him. His business card said he was a general contractor. He did the work but never obtained any permits. I went, after the order, I got an engineer to go ahead and do the drawings, and a permit was issued, but an inspection was done. Come to find out now that inspection was only for the driveway. The permit was issued only for the driveway. Building permit never got issued. And the non-compliance affidavit, it went to the P.O. Box address. It never came to the street address. And I never, again, I should have updated the address to the property appraiser's office, and I wasn't aware of that. I needed to do it. Long story short, I just need another 30 days so I can get the permit issued. I contacted the engineer as soon as I got the notice for the non-compliance through this hearing. He already had made the changes, and he's reviewing it. I should be able to get him submit and get the permit issued in 30 days. If you would please give me another 30 days.
The problem that I'm having is when you received the notice of this hearing, what did you immediately come in and start speaking with the building department about what you could do?
Yes, ma'am. I came in and spoke with the building department and got the comments from the building department, took it to the engineer who did the drawings, did the comments, amended and everything, and he's reviewing it. I have those corrections already done, and should be able to submit it in a day or two, ma'am. And if within 30 days, I should have the permit issued, and all the inspection, I should be able to get them done.
Vicki, has he had contact with you? Have you?
I have never spoke to him until yesterday. I do see that he was at one point in touch on 8/18 of '22 with Kyle Kasich, who was formerly in this position when I left and went out into the field. I'm not seeing any more notice of, no, there's no more.
Well, he's indicated that he had a contractor that he thought was working on it, but
That's what he said. He is an owner builder. I had to remind him of that yesterday, which means the onus is on him. But he was saying, that he's paid somebody to do this for him, and apparently they're not doing it, so.
And I do have the corrections drawings with me, if you like to see it. And also, the building department, I have been in touch with them. Mr. Tom
Helly?
Kyle, I have.
Kyle Kasich is who you spoke with.
Yeah, Mr. Wayne Thomas, he was on, yes, he was on a vacation last week, and otherwise I asked them to take a look at the drawings.
okay. Okay. So,
I just need 30 more days if I can.
for the record, there is a possibility that there is a mailing issue in the county's files related to the clerk, the prior clerk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the compliance date to August 7th. And so you would need to bring the property fully into compliance by August 7th. And if not, the fine will be imposed at that time. And potentially, I will tell you that if it's not in compliance by the time the August 8th hearing that we come back here, not only will the per day penalty be imposed, but also I will impose costs at that time of the county. I'm not going to, at this time, provided that there is compliance by August 8th.
Thank you.
Or August 7th, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Magistrate.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for your help.
Please take our card with you, please, so you know to be in touch with us. Thank you.
There are two inspectors are on top. There you go. Lift your applications and contracts, so you can check on it.
The next case is 2426 CESM Los Campos de America LLC.
426 CESM.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Robert Harnus.
And William Ramirez.
Okay, can you both raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
For the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Building Inspector for Seminole County Building. This is in regards to case number 2426 CESM Los Campos de America LLC. William Ramirez at 345 Jones Avenue, Sanford, Florida 32773. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, construction without the required permits. The case was originally heard by the Special Magistrate on May 9th of 2024. An order was issued giving the respondents a compliance date of July 10th of 2024, with a meeting scheduled for July 11th of 2024. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector totals $514.17. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $106.49. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $620.66 for both the inspector and the clerk. Recommendation, the Special Magistrate Board issue an order constituting a lien in the amount of $250 per day for 1 day of noncompliance from July 10th of 2024 through and including July 11th of 2024 at $250 per day. And the fine shall continue to accrue at $250 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th of 2024. This concludes my presentation.
Would you like to submit the electronic case file into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an objection to the electronic case file?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll accept it. Do you have a response?
We have submitted all the paperwork needed for the siding, for the doors, the windows, and it says here that has been resolved, but the permit has not been issued.
There are notes in there that they cannot have the structure on the property where it is and do any type of renovations to it. But they had continued to completely renovate it as we were going out there and citing them because this was a stop work order. This is a commercial property that has a bar in the front on Sanford Avenue. Behind it is a home. They're fenced in on the same property. And this home was there a long, long time ago. The codes have since changed. You can't have this structure there. You can have it there, but you can't do any changes to it. I will let Megan speak to this.
So it would be a structure that's called legal non-conforming, so long as it exists the way it is, it's allowed to exist. They can do minor repairs, but they can't expand a non-conformity.
And so they've done an addition or just
So I'm not forgive me, I'm not familiar with this project as it's a commercial project and my typical reviews are limited to residential. But based on my understanding is that they've expanded outside the existing footprint of the structure. So anytime you would go outside the footprint of the structure, that would be expanding the nonconformity. So if they were doing an awning or anything on the exterior, aside from repairs to siding, windows, doors. So if they were doing an awning, a pergola, a pool, anything expanding to the exterior, that would be expanding the nonconformity and would not be permitted.
Okay, so they can't possibly even get the permit for the siding, framing, and windows and door at this point because of the expansion to the structure?
Correct. That would be my understanding. Again, I did not review this permit, but that would be my understanding that they would not be allowed to expand the nonconformity.
We have not expanded anything. The dimensions of the home are exactly the same that they were when he bought it. The house was falling apart. There was holes everywhere. They did issue the permit for the roof for the same address, 345 Jones Avenue.
So you knew you needed a permit for the roof, but
Yeah, and we applied for one, and we applied for the other permit, but now they are putting these new obstacles that you just mentioned on the 8th. This is 2 days ago. This is something brand new, that it was non-existent on the comments before.
Ma'am, I was just handed the comments from the planner that's actually handling this project and reviewing it, Annie Silaway. So this property is owned C1, and I guess the use is going to be a dwelling unit accessory to the commercial use of the property, which is a dwelling unit accessory for the employee. The first step in this special exception process is a pre-application process. The pre-application has been uploaded under the resources folder. And then please provide a narrative on how the proposed structure is intended on being used, and if the structure has been vacant, how long has it been vacant. So anytime a property is vacant for more than 180 days, the use goes away. So they may have an issue with the use as well. So if the residential structure was vacant for more than 180 days, it would no longer be a legal non-conforming structure. The whole property would have to be used as commercial, which is why they're requesting the pre-app to determine what the uses are for the property. So they have multiple layers, much like our ADU residential situation that we had on the special exception. They're dealing with a similar on the vice versa. They're zoned commercial, trying to get a residential use.
okay, so there's no way we could resolve this today
This is not
here
going to be a fast track.
anyway.
Mm-mm.
So, I'm going to extend the violation compliance date, but I need to figure out what that date looks like, because if I give you an amount of time and you're back here and you've done nothing, then I'm going to not be inclined to, I'm going to impose a fine, and I'm not going to be inclined to work with you. But if I give you the amount of time and you're, doing what they're asking you to do, and it's through no fault of your own that you're through their process, then I completely understand that. And I think ultimately achieving compliance, and if they're giving you an avenue to try to achieve compliance, then that is what we can work through. But if they get to a point where they tell you that it's not possible and the structure cannot be used in the manner that you're using it in, whatever they tell you need to do, you've got to follow that process within the timeframes, and they'll testify to whether you're doing that or not. But if we find ourselves back here, and you're not complying and you're not doing what they're asking you to do, then I will impose the fines and they'll start to run, and I'll also impose the costs, okay?
Okay, we have been trying to do what you have been requesting to do, with the exception of these two new items that
Okay.
appear 3 days ago, on the
Okay.
8th. Now, that home has not been vacant for over a year because he owns the property for less than a year. So that shouldn't apply to it, because he bought the property about a year ago, and that home was occupied. When he bought it, it was totally destroyed. So he's trying to fix it a little bit so he can rest over there and put a mattress on the bed and whatnot.
Okay. And then those are all things that you're going to need to work through with the county. It does sound to me like you have been, or those comments wouldn't have been put in there 3 days ago, because it sounds to me like you had to be working towards something. So I encourage you to continue to do that. So talk to me a little bit about an amount of time for a process.
That would probably go to Megan, because this is going to be in their area with planning.
Did you want to, he stood up in the back. I don't know if you wanted to, did you?
It depends on the process, to be perfectly honest with you. Pre-app is a couple of weeks, and then if it's allowed, I mean, it could be denied at pre-app, so that it could be 2 weeks. If it goes to special exception, it could be a few months. So it depends on what's determined. So if you want to bring him back in 30 days to see what's determined at pre-app, that would be at your discretion. That might be the better way to go, to see what's determined from the pre-application, if he turns that in timely.
Okay. Okay. Are you understanding what?
I do.
What she is saying? Okay. Did he have anything you wanted to add?
My concern is that if the home has not been vacated for over a year, can these two things go away so we can get the permit and
Well,
continue
sir-
the way it was?
Sir, I think that's what the pre-application
That's
meeting.
what I'm trying to explain to you, is until you do the pre-application and the planners make a determination, you're not going to get your building permit. They have to make their determination on whether this use is permitted, and before you can get your building permit.
Okay.
Okay, so that pre-application meeting is very important. Okay.
So that will be,
So before you leave here today, you need to go upstairs to the second floor and see the girls at the counter and get a pre-application.
pre-application, okay.
Okay. Okay, then I will go ahead and, unless, did you have something you wanted to add, or are you good? Okay, you're good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change the compliance date to August 7th, which means we'll have a hearing back here on August 8th after your pre-application meeting, and we'll be in a better position to see the length of time that we would need to give you for a true continuance if there are other processes that you need to go through.
Okay.
Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Won't be me.
The next case is Daniel Luzio, 2427 CESM. This is the first case that we haven't had a continuance on, and the person has complied, I think.
He did. He did.
I'm going to go ahead and find that this matter is in compliance, and I am sorry that you sat here through this entire meeting today, but you're in compliance. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that was easy.
Let's pull those to the front next time.
Okay.
Especially if they're that good, where we've had no
Sure.
continuances.
Sure.
I know, like the 75 continuances, okay, they can wait a little while, but.
He's the one that wanted a year for his compliance date. I know.
So we can talk about that after. Okay, 2 final cases. Let's do 2428 CESM Labette Properties.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there is?
Nobody's here. Okay, for the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building. This is in regards to case number 2428 CESM Labette Properties, Inc., Richard T. Wilson at 1055 South US Highway 1792, Longwood, Florida 32750. Violation charge is Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, construction without the required permits. This case was originally heard by the Special Magistrate on May 9th of 2024. An order was issued giving the respondent a compliance date of July 10th of 2024, with a meeting scheduled for July 11th of 2024. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector totals $581.12. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $86.99. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $668.11 for both the inspector and the clerk. The recommendation is that the special magistrate order a lien and constituting in the lien in the amount of $50 per day for 1 day of noncompliance from July 10th of 2024 through and including July 11th of 2024 at $50 per day. And the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th of 2024. This concludes my presentation.
Okay, I'm going to find that the respondent was properly noticed to be here. There is a green card in the file that was signed for. The respondent has failed to be present. The property is still in violation of Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, and will accrue a fine. I'll ratify my prior order. Will begin accruing a fine of $50 a day today for each and every day hereafter that the violation remains, and I will also impose fines or costs, in the amount of $668.11 to be paid within 30 days. Okay. The next case, 2429 CESM Maximum Auto Center Incorporated.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead and start reading while she's pulling up the slides?
Absolutely.
Okay. For the record, name is Vicki Hathaway, Seminole County Building Inspector for Seminole County Building. This is in regards to 2429 CESM Maximum Auto Center, Inc. at 125 Marion Lane, Castleberry, Florida 32707. Violation charge, Seminole County Code, Chapter 40, Appendix A, Section 105.1, construction without the required permits. This case was originally heard by the Special Magistrate on May 9th on 2024, and the order was issued given the respondent a compliance date of July 10th of 2024 with a scheduled meeting for July 11th of 2024. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the inspector totals $634.68. The estimated administrative cost to process this case for the clerk totals $106.49. The estimated administrative cost to process this case to date totals $741.17 for both the inspector and the clerk. Recommendation that the Special Magistrate Board order and issue constituting in the lien in the amount of $50 per day of non-compliance from January 10th of 2024 through and including July 11th of 2024 at $50 per day. And the fine shall continue to accrue at $50 per day for each day the violation continues or is repeated after July 11th of 2024. This concludes my presentation.
I'm going to find that in case 2429 CESM, that the respondent was properly noticed to be here today, that the green card was signed by the registered agent. and is in the file, and the respondent is not here today. I'm going to find that the property is still in violation and impose a lien in the amount of $50 a day, continuing each and every day hereafter, imposed from June 11th, and continuing each day until the violation is corrected. I'm going to find that there are costs in the amount of $741.17 that will be, are to be paid within 30 days or will be recorded as a lien against the property. And this concludes our cases. I have approved the minutes from the last meeting, and we will go ahead and set the next magistrate hearing for August 8th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you.